The circular saw is the workhorse of the shop. It's a very versatile tool, and I think every shop should have one. When you first start woodworking, the circular saw is one of the first tools that you'll want to acquire. It can do a lot of the same cuts as the table saw, and it's much cheaper. Even if you own a table saw, the circular saw is still a valuable tool. Breaking down large sheets of plywood is much easier to do with the circular saw. Trying to push a 4x8 sheet of plywood through a table saw can be quite difficult. So I placed the board on some flat styrofoam insulation and used the circular saw to cut the board into smaller pieces that are easier to push through the table saw. The saw I'm using uses a 7 1/4 inch blade. It's an older corded DeWalt, but most circular saws these days will have the same basic features. You can also get some cordless varieties, but I've never used them, so I can't say what's better. The benefit of the cord is you don't run out of power if you have a lot of cutting to do. And the benefit of the battery-powered version is portability and not having to work around a cord. Let's take a look at the components of the saw. Each brand will have slight variations, but they're essentially all the same. They all have a blade, of course, and there are several different types of blades for a variety of applications. This is an all-around blade that works well for most situations. More about blades later. The blade itself is shrouded in 2 guards, an upper guard with a dust chute, and a lower guard that will automatically retract when you make the cut. You can also manually retract the blade with this lever should you ever need to. An example for this might be a plunge cut. On the bottom we have the shoe or base plate. This sits flat against the surface of whatever you're cutting. Most of these saws have a tilting base plate so you can make a beveled cut. On this saw the release for the bevel adjustment is here. Over on the back of the saw there's another lever. This one is for raising and lowering the blade height or depth of the cut into your material. There are 2 handles that are used to push the saw through the material. The top one has the trigger on it that's used to start the saw. Sometimes there's a safety switch near the trigger that prevents accidental starts. And the bottom handle is kind of optional. It's safer when both handles are used, but using one hand seems to work well for most. Be sure to unplug the saw, or if it's cordless, then remove the battery before making any adjustments to the saw. On the top, there's a blade lock button for changing the blades. Most of these saws come with a tool attached that is used for changing the blades. When changing a blade, it'll want to spin and move. So if you hold down this button and start to turn the blade, you'll hear and feel it lock into place. Now you can loosen the nut to start changing the blade. When installing the blade, the teeth face this direction, and generally speaking, the blade manufacturer want their logo facing out. There's often an arrow printed somewhere around here that'll show the direction of the blade. There are many reasons to change the blade. The type of blade you use may vary depending on what material you're working with, so you may change the blade multiple times during a single project. If you're looking for fast cuts and are not too concerned with the look of the cut, then the stock 24 tooth blade that comes with most circular saws is all you'll ever need. But if you want to cross-cut a sheet of plywood without splintering, then you might want to try something with 60 teeth. And then there's the blade in between those two, 40 teeth, and it does a good job of cross-cutting plywood and is faster than a 60 tooth blade would be. So when are you going to use this saw? Its main uses are going to be cross-cutting dimensional lumber and cutting sheet goods. Wear personal safety gear when using the saw, eye and ear protection, and a dust mask should be used. When it's time to start cutting something, you'll want to know 2 things: what's being cut and how do you want it to look. For most of what I do, the 40 tooth blade will be fine. But if I was cutting a lot of 2x4s, I may want to use the 24 tooth blade. Or if I really wanted to be sure there were no splinters on a sheet of plywood, then I would switch to a 60 tooth blade at the least. Blades with a higher tooth count are available. Before making your cut, you need to set the depth. Setting the blade 1/4 inch deeper than your material is usually good, and that's generally the length of a tooth. Now you can move the saw into position and align the teeth of the blade up to the waist side of your line. Back away a little bit and squeeze the trigger to get the blade going full speed. Then slowly move back towards your line. While moving forward, you can watch the 0 line on the front and keep the pencil line right up to the edge of it, or some like to look at the blade itself to keep the saw on the line. More chips fly out in this direction, so make sure you have your safety glasses on. At the end of your cut, you may have to find a way to support the cut-off piece, and that can be a bit difficult sometimes. So to avoid problems, I place the wood on styrofoam where the entire piece is supported. A better way to make this kind of cut is to use a guide. There are quite a few options here, from the factory edge of another cutoff, to a guide system like the Bora guide I use. This provides a much more accurate cut than doing it freehand, but it takes a little more setup. For this one I have to consider the distance from the guide to the edge of the blade, so I have to adjust the measurement a bit to get the cut right on the line. I just put a mark on a ruler and I use that to offset the guide bar enough to put the blade right on the line. Then it's just pull the trigger and push the saw through. Cross-cutting 2x4s can be done freehand, but you might find it more accurate to use a speed square like this one. You can align the shoe with the edge of the speed square and then make your cut. This will also work for beveled cuts as well, if you're making something with a lot of angled cuts. When you're cutting bevels, rather than using the 0 line, most of the saws will have a 45-degree line as well. This saw is likely to be one of the most used tools in the shop. It doesn't do a lot of fancy cuts, but it's good at making straight cuts, and you could be doing a lot of that. Click here to see my beginner's guide where I show the majority of the tools needed to get started with woodworking.